Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Now, I've listened to various platforms and commentaries, those who are for and against. The indications I get is that people want some preferential treatment for Ken, so to speak, even if he so demands that he's to be deported to Ghana. I've heard people suggest that he should just be, case the allegations or whatever, the charges be brought against him, let him have his day in court, without what they describe as, parading him as a common criminal, so to speak, being handcuffed and the rest. Do you think that these are right indications, and should we be making those kind of preferential treatment? The gentleman says he is sick. Should we just come? Should we handcuff him? Should we just put him in behind bars, or should we just give him some preferential treatment?
So, good morning to you and your cherished viewers, as well as my brothers.
Because people want that guarantee that when Ken comes, he wouldn't be treated any other way.
Ken Ofori-Atta, does he have 4 legs? Does he have 4 eyes? That is the stupidity of the highest order. For anybody to think that we must segregate human beings, have half of Ghanaians treated in a different way and half of Ghanaians given preferential treatment. If there is nothing at all, he must be held to the highest standards, because we have been so benevolent. Poor as we are, we pay taxes, don't we? Then, through some grace, just grace, David, you could be the finance minister. It doesn't take much. And now I've realized that even the Makola people who have never been to school, the formal education, they will do better. That's about what Ken Ofori-Atta did, together with Addison and the Bank of Ghana. And they said they went to school. Then education is useless to my liking. So, those that are saying that he must be given preferential treatment, they are not serious. If someone stole plantain and was not treated well, the one that has stolen billions, what makes anybody think, if the allegations or if the charges that have been preferred by the OSP is anything to go by, what makes anybody think that he must be treated far less than what the person who stole plantain was treated? So that is not what we must encourage. And Saturday, I listened to the Attorney General say that, yes, along the same line, and I wondered how the Attorney General also allowed himself to be asked those nonsense. He told us that the former Attorney General of the United States, John Ashcroft, together with N.A. Kasimi, that I told that is another criminal in the waiting, asked of him whether when Ken comes to Ghana, can you imagine he will be given a fair hearing? You are asking the Attorney General of Ghana, why? Ghana, are we in a kangaroo republic? They could have asked the embassy here whether here we do kangaroo business. Whether the lives of Wuntumi who are in court, they don't have access to their lawyers, they are being maltreated here and there. The truth of the matter is that Ken Ofori-Atta doesn't want to come. That's the long and short of it. And see, we are allowing people to set a very dangerous precedent for us. A very dangerous. That precedent was started by Ferdinand Tamaklo and it's been followed through by Ken Ofori-Atta. As we speak, we don't know whether or not Ferdinand Tamaklo does not have U.S. resident permit or passport. So if she has, then we have lost her. Because she's no more your Ghanaian. She is an American. So on what basis would we be bringing her to Ghana? That is the exact route that Ken Ofori-Atta wants to pass. So every day we are delaying, he is on the process of securing what? His passport, his resident permit. And that is how come he has engaged top lawyers, so-called, to fight for him to remain in the United States. Now the man says Ghana, he doesn't want to see Ghana.
Because he fears when he comes, Ghana won't give him fair trial.
But what? Can Ofori-Atta see handsome than anybody here? Who told him we need him in Ghana? All that we need him to come and do is to come and show us the whereabouts of the monies. If we can do so in the United States of America, no, we invested this year, we invested in Ghana, go for your money. Me, I don't need him. To do what? To come and slang? To come and quote from the Bible? To come and wear white? They do wicked things behind the white and the Bible that they quote. You are in this country. Dr. Jekum, what did he tell you? Michael Jekum told us that as a result of the symbolic, the useless, and the bogus policies, which were deliberate anyway, just to impoverish people, under the reign of Nana Akufo-Addo, with his brother or cousin as the finance minister, close to 1 million people moved into the poverty threshold in the Ashanti region. 900,000 in the northern region, 600,000 in the central region, 700,000 in the Volta region, as a result of his policies alone. As for him, the least said about him, the better. Now he says, he thinks all of us are mugu, so he will come and win the elections. That's what he believes. But the truth of the matter is that if we were in any serious country, that should never has been allowed to what happened. Like Doc was saying, the Obota report is there. He was recommended for prosecution, having swindled, snitched 2.5 million then. Can you imagine Nigeria, the value of $2.5 million? They did it to the state, against the state. That report is there for everyone. That at best, he should have been an ex-convict. They allowed him. Some of us petitioned. Parliament did not listen. Because 2017, 2020, Parliament was controlled by the New Patriotic Party. That was the case, 169 and what? 128 or so. So they allowed it to go because they were so much afraid of Nana Akufo-Addo. I don't know what is so scary about a human being. A fellow human being, you are afraid of him. At worst or at best, respect fellow human being. But never be afraid of a human being. For what? Someone who will die like you. Someone who will fall sick like you are afraid of the person. So we allowed that. But my greatest difficulty, so that even gave the MPP out. That they were not going to do anything serious. That came 2020. The Ghanaian did as the greatest honor. In fact, the MPP lost the election in 2020. That's the fact. But with the connivance of some elements within the National Democratic Congress, Nana Akufo-Addo was able to scale through. So 2021, we thought that Parliament would still revisit our issues and then bounce him as a finance minister. Interestingly, he deferred his what? Vetting. After that, they said they were going to vote. He had the highest. They rather recommended Hawakum Singh or Pong Kroma, Akoto Free, and so that they must be deselected or so. So he was emboldened. He felt untouchable. He did whatever pleased him. They called him Ken. They called him Kenneth. They called him Kuntum Kunugu. They called him Ofori-Atta. So he was above all of us. That's why people can come and tell you that he must be given preferential treatment. They are annoying people if they don't know. They are getting on the nerves, and the pulse of the nation is not at peace. Because, what are we discussing? On the 2nd of January 2025, we were told that he informed the former Chief Justice, Chief of Staff, Favour, that he was going to seek medical treatment outside the shores of this country. And also informed the current Chief of Staff. And that aspect, when I hear it, I laugh. Did we have 2 Chief of Staffs at that time? They only draw in Julius Debra's name just to legitimize why he's outside. I'm very surprised that Mr. Debra is also sitting down there, not coming out to, because it will be used against you at a point. That you have aided, you also aided in him traveling out of this country. You need to clear your name that at that time you didn't have power. So if anybody informed you, it was non-score. There was nothing he could have done. At that time, the Nana Akufo-Addo administration was still in power. But this allegation is flying around. You are sitting there as a chief officer. You are not responding to what sort of life is that? He left. When he left on the 24th of January 2025, we saw a letter written by the OSP inviting him to appear before him on the 10th of February. It was then that his lawyers wrote and made copies available. They themselves leaked it to us. That Ken Ofori-Atta was at the Mayo Clinic, at a very expensive clinic that David, myself, Doc, PDA have no capacity. I don't know whether PDA, because his government is party supporters now, he has capacity.
He may get funding.
Hey, PDA.
But all the land in Accra.
All the land, have you been giving me a quarter plot? Don't bring yourself over there.
No, Ken has the land I was going to give you.
Can you imagine? They told us
Mayo
Clinic, expensive. That's where the man decided to go. Now, they fought us, his lawyers, Frank Davis and Minka Premo. They told us that we were so unreasonable that a man who was that sick, who was undergoing MR guided biopsy or whatever, we would say that he must come back, and that if they were Ken, he should never step foot here. And there came the issue of Kofi Bento.
Yeah.
Said, he shouldn't come.
Yeah.
And these people, they sit in this country, they create the impression that they even have the nation at heart. That was what led to him being declared a fugitive. You remember that issue? Later they said he was going to do a process or procedure or surgery in June of 2025. Only Saturday we were told by this Attorney General that his visa was revoked as far back as when? June. You see how people lie through their teeth. So now what it means is that
it was required to leave in November.
It was required to leave in November. How can you revoke a visa? Once you revoke a visa, it means the person must not be there.
But they gave him that grace period.
Then why did they revoke it? Why did they revoke it? No, some things are not adding up. Then we lived with it because some of us have said that he's not going to come. And not coming is an admission that he has done something wrong. And if I were the MPP members who are defending it brazenly, I would rather be crying, because the longer Ken Ofori-Atta stays outside, the longer the MPP will stay in opposition, because we are taking over from them. On what basis would they be able to use the issue of corruption to campaign in this country again? Tell me. When you people believe that Ken Ofori-Atta must be in the United States, when we have issue of PDS at our hand, the National Cathedral is here with us. We see it. As for that one, it's so dangerous that anytime you are going to Parliament, you see the whole. The SML. Why is he more human than the Kensels, the Kofintis, the Amishadai? Have they not been? Were they not taken to custody to be granted bail? Is Ken Ofori-Atta more human than them? Hey, they shouldn't annoy us. We want to live in peace. The 8 years administration of Nana Akufo-Addo, what we went through, what the Ghanaian went through. By human beings, the one who created us, he gave us something special. Forgetfulness. We are able to forget. That is why it seems that people even have the mouth and the gut to be telling them what they are telling. Look, he was taken into detention. Is that not the case? The Ghana embassy in the Washington playing their role as responsible embassy. Said they wanted to reach out to him to know whether he was even being treated well and whether he needed any assistance. Now he doesn't want to have anything to do with Ghana. He said no, he wouldn't talk to them. He doesn't want to see them. Wait. And that before he would do so, his lawyer must be there. Why? Have they told you they are coming to interrogate you? Do they even have that power to interrogate you? And if they do, why would they send the outcome of that interrogation? The man says now because he's on his way to getting the American passport. So now he doesn't consider himself as a Ghanaian. But it will be a blot on this country if Ken Ofori-Atta is left off the hook. Now what would be the justification for us to go after those in power now? Tell me why there should be any justification. Because I want to pounce on the communication minister and his assigns. That when we were in opposition, that we spoke so much of the Kenny GVG, the Smart Infraco, and the other one. When this minister of communication came, what does he do about that? He has kept mute. Table manners. Is that what they are experiencing here? Kenny GVG, what do they add to us? That they say they are doing revenue assurance. What assurance of revenue are they giving to us? We spoke of it. We fought it in opposition. But this is where people keep losing interest in our body politic. We know the truth, but we always want to shy away from it. And that is why Ken Ofori-Atta and his people, at a point, we had faceless individuals who wrote, who issued a statement in the name of a family. You remember? Yeah. Faceless individuals who, they see us as so weak in mind. So the family of Ken Ofori-Atta, no name. That Ken was going to come. The other Afenyo go to the Parliament of Ghana and boldly declare that in May, Ken Ofori-Atta will be in this country. Now he is fighting this. And that is why I get worried and get surprised that the more than 80 MPs that said that Ken Ofori-Atta must be removed, why are they not leading this effort? Why? Now they are busily fighting that Mahmoud Bawumia must be their candidate, and because Ghanaians are weak in mind, he will be our president and come and mess up this country. He will be in this country, be or yo. We will be here, we will be here. Let him be the flag bearer and let us go into the elections and let's see. They don't mean well. They have stolen the nation's wealth. They have used that wealth to better their lives and that of their families. And David, tomorrow their families together with their children, that is what annoys me, will tell our children that you have a Panama Mobra.
That's the most annoying part.
Our parents...
Do you know he's there with his son?
Of course!
He's there with his son and his wife.
Where they are living is an expensive area. Our past there before, that is where all the lobbies are. That is where all the lobbies are. He wants to tell us that, look, he's rich. Indeed, he's rich. Because if he's not rich, engaging the John Ashcroft law firm, on the average, you will not pay less than 4,000 if you are bringing it to the city equivalent, 4,000 cedis per hour. 4,000 cedis per hour. That you will not pay. Not less than that. Ashcroft law firm. That he has engaged them. Where do you think he's getting that money from? Hey, we must not be playing with things. Oh. No way, no way, no way. But the National Democratic Congress must set up together with this administration. They are doing very well on the economic front. All the indicators point to the positives. But the Ghanaians is still not happy. Not happy because they know that people stole from us. The Operation Recover, they must not play with it. If they play with it, it will play with them. And the United Party will capitalize on that fully. Come to power, these people, they have mouth. What are you talking about? So, David, Ken Ofori-Atta will not come. I know he has, if you are engaging the services of a former Attorney General of the United States, and there is no country that's so corrupt more than the United States. They are going to do charade business there. At the end of the day, they regularize his stay. He will have permanent residence and then be there.
You are so convinced he's not coming.
If he comes, hallelujah, I'll go and welcome him. If he decides, if willingly the American authorities are able to send him down here, that one means that he came not out of his own volition. Because when your visa is revoked, I mean, currently it tells you that man does not have credibility. Because there are about 4 or 5 grounds that your visa could be revoked. Either by fraud or misrepresentation. They granted you the visa. Later they realized that the very information you provided, there were a lot of inconsistencies in there. Untruths. They can revoke it. When you are a threat to their national security, they can revoke it. When you engage in criminal activities in the United States of America, during the time that your visa was valid, they could revoke it and send you back. When you decide to engage in activities that are not consistent with the visa that you are holding, for instance, you got a visiting visa and you started working with it, your visa could be revoked. So on what basis was the visa revoked? Was it for criminality?
In this instance, could it not be maybe a request by the interested parties, in this case Ghana?
No, once it involves immigration, it could not be from Ghana.
Right.
Yes.
The revocation, yeah.
Once it's revocation, once it is immigration related, I don't want to equate it together because Ghana has rather filed for extradition, which means it has to go through the court process, which is a long process.
Listening to the Deputy Attorney General also speak on Saturday, he gave it the indication that they were using all means.
So that's why I'm saying that I don't have any reason to doubt the Attorney General.
Right.
But that is diplomatic circles which are not documented. You understand? So they can go on with it. But what I'm saying is that when you have the former Attorney General of the United States of America, call your Attorney General and ask him whether someone that the agency says he has stolen from us will be given a fair trial, then it's a cause for concern. On what authority or basis was the former Attorney General asking the Attorney General whether he will be given a fair trial?
It's because we've politicized, so to
what
speak,
is
politicized the whole case.
What is politics about it? That you were the finance minister, that we see the whole there, that we have SML to deal with, that we have PDS, that we have 52 billion that left our GCB account, that we don't know the destination of that amount. Just come and answer. I didn't say who has said that he's guilty. Has he been pronounced guilty? They said come and answer. But it has been established that he's not sick. Because he was not detained whilst he was on a sick bed.
He's recovered.
Oh, but what did he tell us? That even makes it worse. What did his lawyers told us? That the moment he recovers, he's back home. Instead, they found him in a very plush apartment. That do not have nurses in there. That do not have medical facilities in the apartment. It means he's doing his normal business work. Paracetamol wasn't there. Meanwhile, all along, what have you been told? That he's at the Mayo Clinic, painting or creating the impression that those of us that were saying he should come then, we are so wicked, we are so unreasonable. What it means is that the ICE is so reasonable, if indeed he's sick. The ICE went and saw a very sick person, and then they decided to pick that sick person into a detention home. Doesn't make sense to you? So when people are lying through their teeth, some of these things expose them.
So have you seen a video of Billy
Yes.
to be working
like
do you believe it?
I have never believed anything that this turned out from.
Subject of
Oh
discussion.
no, he's his brother.
So in London, it has been proven that the man is fit, is the reason why he was picked. I saw him as a very fit person who could return home. Secondly, if indeed he was there receiving care from Mayo by now, you should have seen a letter coming from Mayo questioning the integrity of ICE, that this is our patient. Are you with me? He's under our care. We are taking care of him. Why would you put him at ICE? We have not seen anything from that. So the supposed letter that was written and produced to the OSP, I told you here that it was fake. You see, now it is coming home. The trophy is coming home. We will be here and wait for the outcome.
All right, let me do some quick messages and I'll come up for the wrap-up session, then we'll be out of here. All right, so this one is coming from, please add your name. Okay, Mutala Salaga. It says, good morning, hosts. I'm Mutala Salaga. Ken Ofori-Atta must come to his own country to account on his stewardship. Ghanaians should watch those who are saying Ken shouldn't come. Please don't vote for their party, NPP, and some elements of CPP. All right. Okay. You've listed a host of names you want to see them prosecuted. Okay. Good morning, Pan-African TV, as well as your noble panels. Can Ofori-Atta of a person is being pampered to a very greater extent, making it look like his matter is just okay. If Ken were my blood father, I would have hesitated to cast first stone on his head. Okay. Fortunately or unfortunately, it's not your godfather. Good morning, Pan-African Television. Those who are questioning the legal basis for Ken Ofori-Atta to be held accountable are portraying their mentality in public office. That questions why they are looting. Okay, that's from Uncle Gabi Wamfi. His concern is about those who are raising legal basis for Ken not coming. This from Kwablavi of Pokwase Benghazi. President John Mahama has stated that he will take Ghana to a level that no government has gotten to that level. It is true that President John Mahama can change Ghana through development because Ghana is changing so fast under his government. All right. Thank you for the message. This one says, you want to join the discussion. Okay. As a panel, or the government is doing well except unemployment and low salaries of civil servants. That's my opinion. That's from Frank in Ofori-Atta. From Masawudu in Kumasi, Bantama, I will urge the NPP delegates to reject any candidate who resort to personal attacks and insults, vote someone who can lead the party to victory with dignity and integrity. It says Bawumiabeba 2028. All right. Okay. All right. So let me do Facebook. This one is from Edward Aqua. It says, please. Okay. Ken Kofi Anthony writes, what's happening to Ken? Ken should be a lesson to all political office holders. Ibrahim Abdul Karim Jabba, under this administration of the NDC, Ghana will claim its promise soon, says Eyezu. Daniel Akpaliok, judging by Ken Ofori-Atta's well-known disposition, it is highly unlikely that he will voluntarily return home at this stage. History has shown that even under sustained public and political pressure to resign as finance minister, he chose resistance over accountability. David Asantis writes, Ken Ofori-Atta has done a lot damage to our economy and the nation. All right, so I want us to wrap up on this note. So from where we sit currently, I wanted us to look at corruption itself. The current laws that we have, does it fight corruption alone? Over the weekend, after the Attorney General's, indications, I've heard report or commentary that we need to enhance, what the laws that we have on reverse bidding, okay, to broaden it, to give it a much broader scope when it comes to the fight against corruption. I've heard people talk about publishing our, declaration of assets. I've also heard people talk about coming into force the lifestyle auditing. I don't know where you stand on this. Will this help, in totality? And it's coming from Abu Sop. It says, good morning, Pan-African TV. The reported detention of former finance minister Ken Ofori-Atta and claims about the revocation of his US visa must be discussed with facts, calmness, and respect for due process, not political propaganda. It is important for the public to understand that visa decisions are sovereign administrative actions taken by foreign states by international practice. A visa revocation is not a criminal conviction and does not amount to proof of guilt. Even the United States makes it clear that visa actions can be taken for confidential reasons that are not publicly disclosed and may have nothing to do with wrongdoing. Therefore, attempts by Solomon Usu to weaponize this issue against the New Patriotic Party are misleading and unfair. The truth remains that it was the NPP that gave Solomon Usu relevance, visibility, and a national platform. To now turn around and abandon the party's long-standing principles of rule of law, presumption of innocence, and respect for institutions in favor of sensational commentary is inconsistent with the democratic values he once defended.
What is his name?
The NPP has always stood for strong institutions, lawful accountability, and constitutional processes, not trial by media or populist judgment. Ghana's democracy is being protected when public debate is guided by verified facts and legal standards, not speculation. True patriotism demands fairness, consistency, and loyalty to truth, not political ambition built on selective narratives. Abu Safano from Damongo.
Oh, Abu is good. I don't know him. But I like it when people come with
Abu Safiano.
Abu Safiano from Damongo. Oh, that's good. I wish. But you see, first of all, let's put issues in the right perspective. He didn't say anything different from what I've said. A visa is issued at the embassy. But visa issued at an embassy does not mean you have the right of entry. That's what people don't know. When you get to, say, U.S. visa, when you get to the United States, the immigration people or the border control, they allow you, or the customs, let's say customs, they allow you entry into the United States of America. You might have made certain representations here that convinced the interviewer to grant the visa to you. But the decision to allow you to enter the United States is that of the customs. So when they allow you in, you understand, unless until they find anything that is contrary to their law, that amounts to crime, on what basis would they then revoke your visa? It is either there has been fraud or misrepresentation. That when you went to the embassy in Ghana here, you made certain propositions or representations that they have now found to be untruth, they can revoke it. When you go to the United States and go and engage in things that
These are presumptions.
No, that is what it is. These are facts. Why would they send him to detention? Why are they mad?
Which means something, an offense has been committed for him to be detained.
So that is why when it happens, you have access to, if you have access to immigration lawyers, to them go in and say that, look, what you are accusing my client of is not the true position. So he has engaged his lawyers to that regard. Unless what's the name? Abu Safiano is telling me that what the Attorney General said yesterday, that indeed his visa was revoked, is not the true position. He has contrary information. He has not provided that, and I don't think he has it. Now, coming to the issue of NBB gave me platform, maybe popular. He doesn't even know me. He doesn't have any clue about me. You understand? So what we are, if I were him, I would rather encourage the NPP to bring him, to call on Ken to come to Ghana. How many people were ministers under Nana Akufo-Addo? Wasn't it about 123? How many of them are going through this ordeal? You are not ashamed of this as a young man growing in the party. I guess he's a young man. Usually they are the ones that come. You are not concerned that your purse was given to an individual to protect it, to make sure that it's invested in hospitals, make sure that it's invested in roads, make sure that the bank got adequate funding to help businesses to transfer. That your brothers and sisters who are now in the homes or houses not having jobs to do will get jobs to do. You are rather interested in trivialities. This country, when people are being accused of having taken our money, then the young ones that are supposed to be angry because it is their future that has been stolen, they are rather interested in writing English when the English does not amount to anything. You understand?
So you can ask Abu a question. You see, how often do you see the police go and do a swoop at Trasacco?
No.
Normally it is a Tudu, Nima.
Exactly.
So if the police, the ICE, call it police,
yes,
goes to the White House area,
a prime area,
take somebody who is not just an unknown figure, but a former finance minister. Come on.
Whose lawyer is the former Attorney General of the United States. You think you can really just go in and pick somebody like that? There must be something wrong.
Something
for them to even come to the conclusion that they have revoked his visa.
If you watch the style that it was picked, it was targeted.
Yes, of course.
It wasn't just their normal operation. It was planned.
Yes.
Even according to Attorney General, it was to be done
previously,
2 or 3 days earlier.
Yes.
You understand?
They couldn't do it on the 4th,
yes.
and they did it on the 6th.
You understand?
So
it's not a matter that you can trivialize. In any case, what have you been saying here? We are saying that he should come and account to the people of this country. Am I a judge?
What he read was written by Abu Jinapo.
No,
but it's an allegation.
You can't say
you
that.
know Abu Jinapo's writing style.
You can't
when you see it, you can see it. The guy is sitting by Abu in Damongo and I'm saying out this piece of information.
So that is what it is. We must all encourage accountability. Either than that, we will not have any business whatsoever to handle those who are in power now. And there will not be any precedent for them to follow that. Hey, when you come and you mess up with our resources, you will not go scot-free. That is the only way, the limited resources you have. No country has it in abundance. So. No. It is the judicial use of the resources that develops the country.
Even in 1 year, judicious use, you see the
results. You see what is happening. You understand? Right. You must be interested in it. The mere fact that you belong to a political party, why? When political parties manifesto tells anybody who is
to go and steal,
give a position to go and steal. When political parties manifesto. So where from this business of all of us that when someone is in your party and the person goes to commit a crime, then you as a party you must support that person.
And I think Bawumia must issue a disclaimer. I believe strongly that this is his thoughts.
No. Withdraw that.
But his silence is definite.
Withdraw that. Please withdraw that.
What should I withdraw? That Bawumia doesn't know.
Let's take that out.
That Bawumia doesn't.
Yes, please.
What is Bawumia's position?
Please.
Okay, just advocate for Bawumia's position.
Okay, so Bawumia should make his position clear.
Okay, fine.
Everybody should make his position clear.
Okay.
Abu Jinapo of Damongo should make his position clear.
Now I'm even beginning to give some level of credibility to. You know, recently Herald published something that former President Kufuor had contacted John Mahama to have a safe passage for. I'm now beginning to give credit to that story. Because if the former Attorney General of the U.S. could call your Attorney General here to assure him, who is he? Assure him that he will be given a fair trial. Hey! When was the last time we called the U.S. to ask whether they will give a fair trial to the small boys that have been picking here? Tell you. When was the last time we did that?
All right, Doug.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.